Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are jumping into a really fascinating take on a major biblical prophecy. We're going to explore an idea that suggests what many think is a single future event might actually be two completely separate moments years apart. So that brings us to the big question right at the heart of this. Is the Abomination of Desolation just one event? Or could it actually be two distinct events happening in two very different kinds of temples? The interpretation we're looking at today builds a really compelling case that it's the second one. All right, let's get into the weeds here. This whole theory really hangs on a very subtle but absolutely critical difference in how the Gospels of Mark and Matthew describe this prophecy. It's like a prophetic puzzle, and once you see the pieces, a whole new picture starts to emerge. Okay, now look closely at the wording here. Over in Mark chapter 13, verse 14, the key phrase is, standing where it ought not. See how general that is? But then you look at Matthew chapter 24, verse 15, and it gets way more specific. Stand in the holy place. The argument here is that this difference isn't an accident or mistake. It's actually a massive clue pointing to two totally separate events. So let's unpack that first phrase from Mark. If where it ought not isn't talking about a physical building, then what kind of temple are we dealing with? Well, this leads us to a fascinating concept, a temple that isn't made of brick and mortar. The language right here in Mark 13:14, where it ought not, is seen as describing an event that can happen without a physical temple ever being rebuilt in Jerusalem. The focus shifts away from a building and onto something being put in a place that's holy, but in a different way. And the key to unlocking this first abomination is this idea of the fleshly temple. The source material makes this incredible comparison to Moses' tabernacle in the desert, a portable tent that was covered in skins. In that same way, the human body is viewed as a portable temple covered in skin that's meant to house the Spirit of God. And boom, this is the core argument for that first abomination. It's not about an idol in a building. It's about desecrating the human body, that fleshly temple, by putting the mark of the beast on it or even in it. You're putting something where it ought not to be, a profound violation. Okay, so that's the first one. Now let's switch gears and jump over to Matthew's account, because the picture he paints is completely different, and it points to a second, totally separate event. And here, the specific language is everything. What's so crucial here is that phrase from Matthew 24, verse 15, in the holy place. You see, unlike Mark's general wording, this points directly to a real, physical, dedicated location, a place everyone would recognize as sacred. And according to this line of thinking, this second event can only happen when a physical third temple is rebuilt in Jerusalem. It's in that literal holy place that Satan will stand up and declare himself to be God, fulfilling this very specific prophecy for Matthew. So if we have two different abominations, separated by what they are and where they happen, how do they fit together in time? This is where this interpretation really diverges from the standard 7-year tribulation model and proposes something bigger, a 14-year framework. This timeline lays it all out. Instead of 7 years of tribulation, you have 14. It's basically split into two 7-year chunks, often called the seals and the trumpets, based on the book of Revelation. The first abomination, the mark of the beast, happens around year 4, during the seals. But the second one, Satan in the physical temple, happens way later, around year 11 and a half, deep into the trumpets period. Now, to back up this 14-year idea, this interpretation points to a really cool parallel, a type and shadow, in the building of Solomon's original temple. This is from 1 Kings chapter 6, verses 37 and 38. Just look at the timing. The foundation was laid in the 4th year, and the temple was finished in the 11th year. That's a 7-year process. This is seen as a kind of historical blueprint for the timing of these future prophetic events. So let's just pull this all together. The really crucial takeaway here is to stop seeing this as one confusing prophecy and instead see it as two very distinct moments in the future, each with its own context, its own timing, and its own unique temple. This table just lays it all out nice and clean. On one side, you have the first abomination from Mark 13. The temple, the human body. The act, receiving the mark of the beast. And the timing, during that first 7-year period of seals. Then you have the second abomination from Matthew 24. The temple, a physical, rebuilt building. The act, Satan literally enthroning himself. And the timing, during the second 7-year period of trumpets. Two different temples, two different events. And this leaves us with a really big question to think about. If this 14-year timeline is basically a prophetic map for the road ahead, how does that change the way we think about being prepared for the journey? It challenges us to consider not just one big bad event at the end, but a much longer, more complex period of trials. What does being truly prepared look like in that light? Definitely something to ponder.